Hello ratbags, it's Jade, welcome to a grounded video. The update Into the Wood has obviously arrived. I've done a bunch of content on it, I've pretty much shown off all the stuff in the PTB and there wasn't really much changes. I think I could probably do a few videos showing off some of the milk molars and stuff like that, which I'm going to do. Now of course, part of the Into the Wood update at the end of the devlog was Shiler going over their future plans. Basically, Grounded have said maybe not to get your expectations up too high about the next set of updates. So we're going to talk about that and what that really means for the future of Grounded. But let's cover over a little hotfix that's gone live for everyone right now. So apparently bugs no longer pathing through base walls when not looking at them has been fixed. I know lots of you guys were saying that literally ants were just walking through some of your defences, but that should be fixed now. Fix the crash related to turning off waypoint markers on the map and crashes related to large bases. We've also fixed the crash on boot related to having your OS culture set to any of the new languages. Apparently they added a whole bunch of these to the game. So that's great for all our international friends. Surveying resources as a client no longer causes performance issues. You can access the pet rename screen using the gamepad again. Web doors in the hedge properly update the visuals for clients after webs are chopped away, and scan radio dishes on field stations properly rotate for clients when active. I didn't even realise these actually rotated till I watched the Grounded dev stream yesterday. Gum nuggets obey the laws of gravity again. Dewdrops no longer need to be shot twice, knock them down with arrows, and termite armour better fits all the teens. Twinkly shells use the generic bag model instead of the firefly wings. Health bars sharpen grubs after digging them up, and scarabs will no longer wander into the unfinished part of the yard. I did notice that round the back of the shed where you can get on towards near the baseball bat, that is where you could find some. Bit of a shame that they haven't left that spot. I felt that made it obviously a bit easy to go get them. I guess it was a bit too cheesy. And players are no longer going to hear sizzle audio for other players that are sizzling far away. The resource survey overlay renders correctly.
The current plan is to finish developing the building blocks that will lead towards a finished yard. So expect the next few updates to be a little on the lighter side, so that way they can wow you with their work in the future. Y'all are awesome, and everyone here on Grounded is very excited to continue to expand the backyard and develop the game we all want to play.
So you heard them right, they're not maybe going to be having the updates as chunky as they have been in the past, because they are going to be working on finishing off the yard. Now I've mentioned this a few times in a few streams over the last few weeks, that they really want to get the footprint, as they called it, of the yard finished. Now this is pretty normal, there are a little few things we're going to go over this. I have noticed a little bit of saltiness in some of the comments from streams and some of my videos as well, and I can see why some people might be that way. But it's clear they've got good reasons for doing this, and it's pretty exciting about what's going to happen next with Grounded. I mean, ultimately, let's not sugarcoat it. It does mean that we're not maybe going to see a big chunky update that adds new biomes in the future. It could be 6 months before we see something like that. They did confirm that they do plan to carry on updating on a roughly 3-month basis. And that's what they've been doing for the last sort of 6 to 9 months now. And whatever update arrives in like May, that might only be a few quality of life things added, possibly a couple new bugs, or possibly some new items, but it might not be all of the biomes. We're not going to get everything worked on next to the shed. It's not suddenly going to appear. That's what I'm understanding from what they've been talking about. They want to take extra time to make sure it's right. I've covered survival games over 6 years now, especially Ark Survival Evolved was the one that really helped my channel, and all throughout early access they had updates every single month. But they also had over 100 staff working on the game by the time they actually left early access. And even when they started they had over 40 to 60 people, and they quickly ramped up to like 70 or 80. Not forgetting that all their port teams that they hired to do the console versions. Ark Survival Evolved, fantastic game as it was buggy and broken every single month, because these updates were just rushed out and they were never fixed, they were never bug tested properly. And especially on Xbox where it was in game preview, there were some real problems and issues with it. One of the reasons I don't really cover Ark as much as I used to is because I got really sick of all the bugs and problems. So I'm kind of down for this. I'm understanding that stuff just can't suddenly be made up every few months. It seems like the devs have probably been overworking a little bit and trying to get this content out. Now I know to you guys you may seem like, well, it's not that big a deal. They're only adding a new biome and a couple new bugs, but that does take a huge amount of time. And remember, there's literally only like 15 to 17 people still working on Grounded. Again, in the past, I have even been a little bit critical of Grounded. I did feel like with Microsoft's backing and stuff, that maybe we'd see the team expand massively. But I've come to learn and respect that But not every developer wants to do that, and even developers that are successful like Obsidian with other games, they've still got to think about the future of their teams and how viable it is to have teams working on stuff. Grounded is successful, no doubt about it. It doesn't have as many players on PC playing it, and it's never had maybe the peaks of other big survival games, but certainly on Xbox there's a whole bunch of people that play this game on a regular basis. I think one of their counts after their launch was like easily 4 million people or something stupid have been playing Grounded. And that's what Xbox wants, that's what Microsoft wants. I don't think they're too worried about how many sales it's generating just yet, it's all still just about keeping you playing the game and enjoying it. So yes, this may mean that some of you guys aren't going to be playing the game continuously. You may end up deciding to have a bit of a break once you've got through this last batch of content. And you know what, that's okay. Again, I've been covering Grounded, and I've been covering Valheim, and I've covered every other survival game, and it's always the same thing. If games rush out their updates, if they feel like they're being overworked or they're trying to fit stuff into schedules just to please players, them updates start getting more buggy, more broken, and sometimes they'll have to redo a whole bunch of stuff because they did just push something out. And I know it's not what everyone wants to hear, we kind of all want content, and I do believe that early access games should provide content, or at least talk about what features are coming, but they're not live service games. Grounded is just meant to be a co-op survival game, it's not Fortnite, it's not a Rainbow Six Siege, it's not any of the other stuff. I think so many of us as players kind of expect that now. As a YouTuber, I love content, it means I get lots of views, and I do worry sometimes that you see a lot of criticism, not just for Grounded but other games too. And it pretty much comes from a place of YouTubers and other people just being grumpy because they're not going to be getting as many views. They're going to have to work even harder for them views. I pretty much set up Jadecraft channel because I wanted to devote more Grounded content and have a proper home for it. I've always planned to cover other games as well, but I did want to make Grounded my main. But you know what, it's okay. I'll probably just do some more previews of new games and stuff like that and still cover Grounded. Maybe not every day, but certainly still keeping up to date with a couple videos at least a week. And then when the next update comes or we get any news, I'll deliver my news videos just like normal. And I'm sure whatever update they do have, I guess, planned for May is still going to have some content. It's just, yeah, not going to be the big biomes, the big dungeons maybe that some of us are maybe over expected. If extra time is needed, then that's what the devs feel, then that's got to be best for the game, and that's important. It will result in the updates that do come being bigger and better and chunkier. The devs will be more happy with what they've put in, and we might actually get a bit more of a surprise. But yeah, I do understand, like I said, I've seen some saltiness. If you've enjoyed Grounded, if you've put 20 hours into the game, if you paid maybe $25 or if you've been playing it for free in Games Pass, don't you feel like you've had some great times? So if an update is going to take a bit longer, or the next one that actually comes maybe isn't going to be as big or chunky, is it really a reason to get super salty or say you're never going to touch the game again or whatever? I've seen a couple of comments like that in the last few days, and it's absolute nonsense. If you enjoy a game and you get the amount of hours out of it that's relevant to its price, or you've enjoyed it so much and had so much fun, I think everyone should be able to wait just a little bit longer for these updates to arrive when they're going to arrive. What's really exciting is that I kind of could be wrong here, but they said they wanted to finish the yard off and they want to get prepped for 1.0. So that could mean that 1.0 isn't as far away as I initially thought. I thought that Grounded might actually be in early access until next year at the rate that stuff was coming or stuff we'd seen on the features board. But yeah, it does look like they're really ramping up to get Grounded done, at least initially, maybe this year, probably like September or October, just what I think. But that's good to hear, we'll get the story concluded, we'll get loads of polish added to it, and yeah, they can start thinking about the future of the game. They do need some sort of content to bring back players that maybe haven't played the game in a long time, entice new players to hear about new stuff rather than stuff they may have just seen and glanced already. And if we keep seeing all the content of the game leading up to launch, that doesn't leave much for us to actually do once the game's here. And they've said they're going to carry on supporting Grounded and they'll keep making content for it after their full launch, of course, but there is still something about having content ready. Every survival game, successful one, has done this more or less. Ark had a whole bunch of endgame content for us to do, a whole set of new technological items you could use, and some new creatures too. Conan Exiles, very different survival game, but they added a whole new jungle area to the map for their full 1.0 release. So that doesn't necessarily mean we won't see changes to the backyard until 1.0. It could just be a case of them just needing more time, as 3 months really isn't a lot. I know I've been complaining a little bit, saying that the deck feels just a little bit unfinished, and we've seen places like some of the underwater laboratories kind of just sitting there and not having anything tied to them just yet. and that could be a case of them having to do that because they had to get content out by a certain date. So if they've got more time to do stuff, it hopefully means they can get better ideas, work on stuff a little bit more, and hopefully deliver more experiences that we're all going to enjoy. The potential for Grounded is still massive. I can't wait to experience some of these places. We've still got the flower bed, we've got the pond which is now empty, doesn't have any water inside it, and then we've got that whole great big massive area next to the shed, and of course some of the other areas still need a little bit of love here and there. Maybe it'll be 9 months, but they've got all the biomes finished and it's like 1.0, that would be fantastic. So I can live with the next set of updates being a little bit lighter. If they need more time, I'm willing to let them have more time without giving them any grief, just because I want views. And likewise, I'm hoping that fans of the game will do the same. They're not going to be salty about it because they want more content to play and do. They'll make do with what they got, find interesting ways to do new stuff, or, you know, go and play some other games and come back in a while. If only there was this YouTuber that just set up a second channel to cover all these types of games. Very similar to Grounded. Games like Lightyear Frontier, farming game where you're a mech that you can play with your friends, or a whole bunch of MMOs and survival games that are coming out that are a little bit more artistic, maybe a bit more cute and crafty, as well as big games that I'm hopefully going to be covering on this channel, like Slime Rancher 2 and in the future Hytale. These are the games that just don't really fit on my main channel, and I spoke about this before and I don't want to make it too much about me, just give you an idea. I'm going to carry on doing Grounded's content, but I'm also going to now probably ramp up some other content. I love Grounded, I think it's a cool game. I voted it as like the best game in 2020 when it came out, and it'd only been out like 6 months. I had the most fun with it. It gave me a really nice fresh view of survival, which I was kind of getting a bit sick of, even with some of the content missing, even in its unfinished state. Grounded's just got a lot of fun associated with it. They do need stuff, and I am expecting hopefully to see some of the stuff that I kind of hope they do add. We all kind of want the bugs to be a bit more useful in the future. I know obviously lots of people want the story, and a lot of people, I guess, do kind of want maybe tameable bugs properly, that you can actually ride them or do something like that. I don't know if that will ever come to Grounded. Who knows? Maybe that'll be something they do after full launch. I think the thing that I've spoke about a lot of times is defences. That's what I really want to see in Grounded. I feel that adds a little bit of replayability. No game should go without any kind of criticism, and Grounded definitely has some flaws in sometimes not being replayable enough. Science points don't regenerate, sometimes some of the laboratories aren't really worth going to revisit, and so it can just get a little bit stale once you've done everything at least once, and then you've maybe built a big huge castle or whatever else. But some of the new features they've added, the new variants of the new bugs, I'm absolutely loving this. I love the idea of having lots of different style bugs, even if they do kind of act the same as others. It just adds and gives a little bit more variety, so you're not running into the same ladybugs, the same larvae or the same spiders. I hope they add even more varieties of the same sort of bugs we've seen, and of course we know that there's big stuff on the way. It does look like the Mantis is going to be a big boss in the future, and we may never see the Mantis actually until full release. And we also know that the Ant Queen is a thing, as I showed you guys all the Ant Queen armour. So there's lots of good stuff coming to this game. But certainly for me, yeah, if defences and the Horde style mode that I assume is coming because of the traps they showed off when the game first launched is a big thing, I think that adds a lot of replayability, making sure that your base is defensible, or even if they do it as a separate game mode. There's loads of things they could do, but they obviously need more time instead of having to rush content out. So that's just my take on it. You can agree, you can disagree. I would just say if you've had fun with Grounded, chill, calm yourself, enjoy the game, enjoy the latest update. If it gets to the point where you're feeling a little bit stale with it, just go and play some other games. And make sure you still sub to me, and I'll deliver you, as normally, the best and early news about Grounded, when we're going to get new features. And who knows, maybe I will carry on doing daily content if I can. I have been promising to do a full Let's Play. I've tried it a couple of times now, and I would love to get enough footage together to do 100 days of Grounded. So let me know what you feel about their announcements, what you feel about the latest update, and what I hope for in the future. I guess the only thing I want to see now, if a lot of content's going to be light, it'd be nice to see more previews, or maybe behind the scenes stuff, maybe see some of the concept arts that gone into the game. That kind of stuff I enjoy seeing while I'm waiting for next updates, but that's just personally me. And yeah, that's me, done. Sorry it's so long, I'll be back with regular content soon, and I'll see you rat bags later.